Hey guys, I'm Angelique Vesteel, and welcome to the Female Passion Project podcast. On today's episode, I have my cousin, Jeanne Louise, who inspires me every single day. She dropped out of nursing school, fell into depression, quit her corporate job, started her own business, and now makes six figures. Join us in this conversation about going against societal norms, collapsing timelines, talking through what's wrong with the old school way of thinking, how technology has become so prevalent in this digital era, and how most fears in our lives are not our own. Here's a short clip. That fear is not your own fear, and I think once you are aware of where the fears are rooted within you, that's when you could actually grab them, get rid of them, and transform them into new thoughts and new energy to transform your entire life.
Because you might be fearing this tunnel or this cave, but you don't know at the end of the cave there's the whole treasure that you've been waiting for, but you just won't go in.
On each episode of the Female Passion Project, I will interview passionate women all over the world who have made a living by pursuing their true passions in life. Expect admirable co-hosts, some laughs, and some motivation to do whatever it takes to pursue your true passions in life. I hope to uncover the truths about reality, reveal new passion projects within you, and to unleash the girl boss in you so that you can live your life on your own terms. Subscribe here to get each episode as soon as it comes out. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
So this is just gonna be really informal because I'm like
how do we look? Do I look here?
Oh, we look at each other? I don't know. I don't even know if I'll post this video. Maybe I'll post it on my YouTube, but I don't really know. Okay, so I really have nothing in my mind right now because I'm my mind is everywhere. So, obviously, for those of you who don't know, I've already done a podcast with her. This is my cousin, Lois, and she quit her job a couple months ago and started her own business. So we're just going to take a little journey on that whole process and how it kind of became. So tell me a little bit about, you working in corporate Philippines and, what it felt like, what were you doing, and then what made you eventually decide to go on and to start your own business?
So for those of you who doesn't know, I'm into digital marketing, so it's in Google Ads and everything. It wasn't much long ago when I started to learn about that, I guess 4 years ago maybe, until I worked hard for during those years. So it kind of escalated all my learnings and my experience. That's basically one of the main reasons why I went into a corporate world, to work for a bigger company, just to get the experience.
Because you were nursing before.
Yeah,
right?
I was nursing before. I was supposed to be a nurse, coming from a Filipino family. That's the traditional way.
Exactly, yeah. I was nursing too, so it's okay.
But then one of the hardest things going through that was just to break out of the norm and to just do your own thing. Digital marketing doesn't really have a course in college or
it's so new,
it's
always changing, so it's so hard to actually teach a course on it because
you
a
have
couple months down the road it'll be new. There are new things today that didn't exist 3 years ago, which is crazy.
I remember that one of the few YouTube videos that I looked at for Google AdWords or Facebook ads, it's not updated anymore. No. I mean, the people that I watch, they just updated their thing, they created new modules, so it's constantly changing and changing. But so it's also up to you to work hard on the craft that you found that you're passionate about, and then you realize, hey, I'm good at this shit.
Yeah.
Or I realize that, hey, I know this shit. I understand how the impact of social platforms, and it's not just using social media mindlessly, but you can actually make a living out of it, doing ads, or if you're good in content, you can be a content marketing, or if you know programming, you can do the back end of the websites or apps and everything. So I'm really, really grateful for like the company that I was with. I've learned a lot from all the different people, from SEO people, from the graphic designers, from the web designers, and I'm like, oh my god. But then it just, like in any other company, it just goes to like a plateau. Like, I'm not learning anything anymore. When you feel like
it's like you're working for someone else and like you're doing all this work and you don't actually see it impacting anything or anyone, because it all goes to a bigger corporation that's far bigger than you, which is okay, but like for you as a person, it's not fulfilling to the extent that like I'm working all these hours and working so hard and learning all these things, and yes, it's really interesting, but like where is it going? And why am I not fulfilled?
That's when I said I could do something that's out, like I'm done. Like everything that I could learn, I've learned. The people that I've met, thank you, like hello, bye, but then there's nothing more to it. So also I was like head of the marketing department there. Even though I was head, I was not earning the money that I would have wanted, because you know there's still like overhead costs and whatever. It's not directly to me. Like the client is not directly mine. It's under the like corporate umbrella and whatever.
I think ultimately though, when it comes to corporate America or corporate anything, for all the work that goes into it, I feel like you don't feel the output as much as you would like to. So I think that's why there's so many people that feel stagnant in jobs, because yes, they might be like love what they're learning and are interested in what they're learning and what they're doing and work with super cool people, but there comes a point where, like you said, you plateau and like there's nowhere else to go. And like yes, maybe you could switch to a different
get promoted or whatever.
But like ultimately, like it's still the same cycle, and it's like a cycle that you keep on going and going and going until you get burnt out. And that's why there's so many people that switch companies or switch jobs. And ultimately, at least for me, my time in corporate America, which was really really short, it was only a year, but like I think even with that, I saw the people around me that have been with the company for like so long, and they're still, not saying that they're not moving up, but it's taking them a really long time to move up. And like I think no matter how hard you work in corporate America, you will never hit that like amount of money
that you would want.
You feel like you should be making
freedom.
Because it's like you're working all these hours, but there's like what's it worth, and what's all this money worth if you can't spend the time doing the things that you love. So that's why I didn't go into corporate America. So maybe I'm not the like proper person to be talking about it, but like that's like just me seeing it from like a young, fresh eye.
But everyone sees it. Even I saw it coming in there, and then like just being around, you know, with my coworkers who were parents or single moms or single dads, and then they want to quit their job so much, but they can't because they have to pay the bills, raise a kid, send their kids to school, but they hate the job so much. But then there's like a politics inside the corporation when no matter how much you work, like some other employees would work so hard, but they don't get the recognition that they deserve. But then some just slacks off, but they get, I don't know, promoted for some whatever reason for sucking up so much. Which is like, it's a sad reality, really. And then just me taking a step back and looking from the outside in, I'm like, I don't want to grow old like these people.
No, because you literally see it taking a toll on people. Like I saw it in the people that I worked with. Like people were gaining weight, people were looking older, people were like saying all these things, and they were like giving me all this advice because I was just graduating college and I was like traveling, and everyone was like, oh my god, what, like you're doing that, like don't you want to work? And I'm like, why would I want to like rush into something that like I can do for the rest of my life? And I think in corporate America, it's so hard to get that feeling of fulfillment than, like, if you go do something that, like, actually fuels your soul. And I think this is something that also, like, just America in general struggles to teach students and people in general, and maybe the whole world, too. Mm-hmm. But I'm, like, I was based in America, so that's, like, what I know. But they teach these people that, like, you're on this timeline to, like, finish school, work and get a good job, and then retire.
It's universal, not just in America or whatever. It's also here in Asia, in the Philippines, that especially if, you know, the traditional Asian families that after high school get to college, after college get a job, after the job thing get married, after the married thing
have kids,
get build married. A house, whatever.
It's like, and it's crazy because I feel like everyone thinks there's a timeline for things to happen in your life. Like, you should have a boyfriend that you think you're gonna get married to by the age of 25. No, that's like not realistic anymore. Like, people are getting married now when they're like 40, and that's fine. But I think there's just like such this old mindset. Like, my mom, well, not my mom and dad, because my dad's way older than my mom, but my mom got married in her like early 20s, and like if I were to get married like right now, I would not be okay with that.
I know.
But like, I think it's so hard because everyone puts this timeline in your head, and so like when you think about like what your future plans are, whether that's going into entrepreneurship or just working a career, it's so hard to not compare yourself to like this timeline that you're supposed to fit.
That's why.
But I think that's why, like, for me at least, I just like got away from everything and like am here and have been traveling for 2 months now and just figuring out life.
Like, I felt that when I dropped out of nursing school, and then everyone was graduating nursing and then taking the board exam, and then some of them went to the States to become nurses. Some of them became nurses here. Some of them graduated with a nursing degree and then like with a nursing license, but then ended up being unhappy because like they didn't really want it.
Yeah.
So when they were at that moment, and then I was still like, because I dropped out and I was still figuring out, I think for 2 years I was like, what the hell am I doing? So and then
just a little lost.
I was kind of lost, but I think like tita, like our family, my dad was like, you're always out and whatever and stuff, because I was kind of depressed. Like, I was really, really, like, depressed. Like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? How am I gonna make a living? When you just get stuck, because you're like, all your life, your adult life, you're supposed to be a nurse. After a nurse, you're gonna go to States and stuff, whatever. Or any other medical degree or a law degree. Sometimes you forget to look inside and
see if it's actually fulfilling.
If like, is this what I really want? Because being brought up in a Filipino family, you're taught to always listen to the elders and like respect the elders. Just listen to whatever you're told, do whatever you're told. So I was a pretty good student. Like, I was an honor student in high school, and and then in college I was doing pretty good. But then it just hit me that this is not
what you wanted.
This is not what I wanted. I was on my senior year and we were just doing our cases. We were like spending more time in the hospital than in school. That's when like I don't like this feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like seeing sick people. I don't like the energy of like the hospital.
It's not
like,
good. It's not. And I think because when I was in nursing, my first semester, like one of the first classes I took was like nursing 101 or something.
Yeah. Fundamentals.
Yeah, or something. Like, and it was like one of the first questions they asked was like, why do you want to become a nurse? And everyone's stories was like, I was in the hospital for like months and like the nurses were like changed my life. And yes, there are people meant to be nurses.
Yes.
And like kudos to you. But I like sat there and I was like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I had no idea. I was like, I'm super caring. And like,
I can take care of you.
Yeah, no, and it's so weird because it's like, it's such a different type of energy, like you said. Like, especially watching my mom work, like, while I was growing up, my mom worked at a mental health center, and, like, working with mental people is a really hard job to do, and it takes, like, a certain type of person, and she loved her job, like, absolutely loved the people she worked with, and, like, her patients and everything, but, like, I watched it, like, almost take a toll on her, where it was almost like, you could tell there was something that was missing. And yes, it's like the American dream. Like, she moved to Chicago from the Philippines and is like raising her kids there and like all these things. But like, it was hard growing up. And so like, yes, there's this ultimate like American dream. But like, once you actually do it, it's like not as fulfilling. And I saw that in like both my parents, like both of them like actually did love their jobs. But like, the actual working for like corporate was really hard on them, and like you could physically and visibly see it like in their like coming home from work. Like every time they would come home from work, they would just want to go to sleep, and like it was like me and my brother were like growing up and like did all these activities, and like we had games, and like obviously my parents try to come to as much of like all like my activities, performances, like as much as they could, but like there were times where like they couldn't because they were working so hard. And so I think when it comes down to just like this American dream and like fulfilling it, like not saying like don't go fulfill the American dream, like by no means, but I think people don't like,
they don't realize
like
there's not one definition of success. That if you get a degree, go to college, then you're successful. I know a lot of, you know, the people that my batchmates that I went to college with, they did pretty well. They were ahead of me, but you know, I'm sad to say I'm not trying not to say this in a bad way, but now I'm kind of ahead of them. It's not
it's like you like transformed in like a different way, and like you grew apart, and that's okay, and like you grew to a different person. And like
I remember there was this one time when they were kind of celebrating because everyone had graduated, so they invited me, and then I was there, and then I never felt so like
out of place,
so low and so out of place, because they were like, hey, when are you gonna finish your credits? Because I only had like a few credits left to graduate. And then I'm like, I don't know, maybe not. And then they just gave me this look that like, what are you doing? What are you doing look? Like, are you crazy look? And then now like some of them are reaching out to me asking for jobs, which is really, it's ironic, you know, like how life would like turns around.
There was this like one quote I read where it was okay, I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, well, that didn't go as planned. What were we just talking about? Like, the only way you could, like, grow and, like, uplift yourself is if you grow apart from the people that are holding you back, because every single person that has been part of your life at some point will only remember a certain version of you. And so, like, for you, like, your batchmates and the people you went to college with, they only knew the nursing in you. So, like, that's the only version they saw, and the fact that, like, they all finished and then you didn't, they like saw that and were like, oh, like, why isn't she finishing? But then eventually you grew apart and like became your own person, and then eventually they'll like see you through your successes, and then like now it's like super ironic, like you said, like they'll reach out to you and all those things, but it's like a new version of you that's come out, and like now they want to be friends with that new version of you instead of like trying to always picture this old version of you. And it's really crazy. It's like so weird how that works, because it's like there's an old and a new version of you, and like there's so many different versions of you.
That's
and
why
like,
you have to embrace, especially you now that you're in this journey, that you're constantly growing and you're constantly evolving. So don't forget to like just take a step back sometimes and just like be present and like, hey, this is what I did today, or this is what I've done for like the past month. I've created this for the past month, because I think that's one of the things that I have to remind myself. lately that everything's going so fast paced. When you find something that you're passionate about, or you find that you can put value to other people's lives, like with digital marketing in Cebu, it's not that big yet, because it's like in America, it's like everyone does Google ads, everyone does like whatever, but in Cebu it's still pretty behind when it comes to the technology and everything.
Yeah.
So there's this huge market to educate people, to put value in their businesses, that going digital is the new thing, and they don't know how to make use of these social platforms that's available to them today, because most of the business owners here are like, old, or like from families school, of like generations from generations. So hopefully now that it's their younger generations, as they pass on their businesses, or the new entrepreneurs even, it will be like a new era for the digital trend here.
But I think it's also so crazy how like the old school ways are still so prevalent here, because obviously not comparing everything to the States, because obviously the States is a first world country and I'm in a third world country, but like it's crazy like how like anything in Chicago or back in the States I could literally Google and it'll come up, and like here it's like
not all,
like even the freaking consulate doesn't have like
a good website
or like a proper number I could call, or and it's like messages on Facebook and I'm like, what? Like,
because they think it's Facebook. All they think, because it's free, right, just to set up a profile or whatever, that's the only thing, that's the only effort that they do. Because when you create a website, you have to pay someone, or buy the hosting, the domain, and whatever. And then, it's pretty, I think it's too much for them. I don't know what the heck is.
It's so weird. It's so different.
It's different here.
But I think there will be like a big transition, especially like being here for the month that I've been here. It's like I've seen more growth here in the past, like since last time I was here when I was a freshman in college, so long ago. Like so much growth in just the city in general, and like even just like the community of people our age. Like I feel like everyone in their 20s right now that I've met here that are like business-y people have like a new way of thinking. And even like when we went to Soul Sierra, and even like when I was talking to Kenneth, and he was just like talking about how he like didn't want to do business with like not old people, but like old school thinking people. And he's like totally right, because there comes a point where like you need to embrace the new, but like you also like the old way of thinking is like everyone wants to be selfish with their money, with their wealth, with their business, with everything they own. They want to own for themselves, their family, their future generations. Where like I feel like the younger generations are so into like collaborating and strategic alliances and all these different things, so that we all could grow together instead of being stagnant and alone and growing like by yourself. By like growing together and partnering with people and doing all these different things, there's like so much opportunity for growth in business just in general than if you were to do it like by yourself. And obviously like I'm still at the very, very beginning stages of like my like whole business journey, but like I watched it firsthand. I like have worked with my brother his whole entrepreneurship journey, and I've seen it. Like I saw him when he was like trying to build it on his own, and then eventually he started collaborating with people, and then it just skyrocketed like even more. So like I've been a part of that whole journey, and like have seen it firsthand, have seen him. I saw it like when he first dropped out of school, and then like how hard he was struggling, and then to where it is now, and now he's living in Bali. So that's like so interesting to think about, because it's like the old way of thinking is just it's so outdated.
I don't know. Without the digital trend or the digital era that we have right now, I don't even know what I would be doing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know.
I was just actually talking about this on the podcast I did with Nev, but like the college education system is built for people to work in factories.
Yes,
and
it's very old.
And it's very old school, and, like, it's not meant for
it's
the
for
type
the
of work.
industrial era.
Yes.
When ring the bell, come in, ring. When another bell rings, go out, and whatever.
Yeah.
It's
for, like, the assembly line and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, not saying college is bad, because obviously I loved my college experience, but I think when it comes to the learning aspect, I learned a lot about, like, business as a whole, which is good. But I think also that information is out there already digitally.
It's how they teach people to deal with the real world after college. Like, they don't even teach us about taxes. When,
they don't.
Like, what the fuck?
They don't teach anyone that. Taxes, checks, banking.
Even in your school?
Yeah.
You don't have...
None.
Like, dude, that's so important, like, financial literacy.
Yeah.
That's what's really sad, especially, like, in a third world country like ours. It's very important for people to be financially literate. What they teach people here is, like, save, save, save. And then you'll be rich. And, like, dude, if you have just enough, what would you save if everything that you have or everything that I earn is just going to bills and whatever? I'm like, save 1 peso a day and then you'll be a millionaire. And after whatever, like, dude, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think also, like, that's, I think, something that people just don't teach in general unless you come from a family that's already financially literate. Because even, like, growing up, like, my parents had a really hard time saving money and paying bills, and we had this nice house, but, like, didn't have enough money to pay off the mortgage, and so we, like, moved and all these things, but, like, I saw that firsthand, and I think that's why me and Michael are so aware of, like, the money we use and where we're putting it and how we're investing in it, and, like, how we can, like, make $1 into $100.
It's crazy how, like, our generation is turning things around based from what we saw, like, our dads do or their moms do.
Yeah.
You know, like,
my little cousin actually asked me, because she was, like, asking me the differences between, like, millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, and, like, one of them, I think it was Gen Z. Which one's Gen Z? Is Gen Z the new one?
Yeah, after.
So Gen Z's after millennials. So it was like, no. So millennials, like, their description was they're learning from the mistakes, the financial mistakes that their parents made was one of the descriptions. And I think it's so real because it's like, even back in the day, like, I think a lot of times, like, it's so outdated. Like, the way our parents think is so outdated, and I think that's why nowadays so many people struggle when you're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, oh, I started my own business, oh, I'm, like, traveling and I'm working online. They, like, are still a little confused with what that means, because like, what they think working online is, like, prostitution or like drugs or, like, the underground world, like, and that's not what it is. But it's, like, crazy to see that actually visually to see that in our parents, and, like, not just my parents, but, like, all parents out there right now, because it's like they don't understand how prevalent technology has become and what the future holds for it, because they're still, like, at a stage where they're getting used to it, where we, like, grew up with it, and, like, grew up with, like, both sides, like, grew up with no technology at the beginning, and then eventually technology came. But, like, we grew up with both sides, so we see both sides, and now we're aware of everything. I feel like that's going on in the world, just fiscally, economically, socially, and just being aware of that, it makes us so much more, like, knowledgeable about, like, what we actually want in our lives and how we can achieve it. So that's, like, why I got super into, like, investing and, like, in real estate, and, like, that's why I'm, like, working towards that, like, working with real estate, because real estate is, like, a good investment to have, but, like, just in general, it's crazy to just, like, see that and learn from, like, our elders from what they didn't do, and then, like, are trying to do it now. So that's so crazy.
True. Because even my dad's an accountant, and he didn't even like do well with his own money.
Yeah.
But he was so good with handling other people's money. But then when it came to his own, it wasn't like pretty good because, some other, reasons with whatever, with the family issues and shit. But so when I got the chance to break out from the corporate world, so in just like 8 months, I earned like triple of what I earned in the office. So when you tell people that you're earning you've hit the 6-digit mark, they'll be like, do you do scams on the internet and stuff like that? I'm like, what scam could I do in the internet that like, and then when I say I'm a Google ad specialist, oh, you work for Google, how'd you do that? I'm like, I don't work for Google. I'm like, it's so like,
it's like people aren't aware, like obviously, I don't know if this is just me working in the digital space for like the past like 4 years, 4-ish years, which is why like I know that, but I feel like more and more people are like, especially our age, like we're aware of what that means, whereas like the older generation is just like still a little confused by like what does digital actually mean. Like, because
what do you actually do?
So I think because even like for me, I sometimes get confused with like some of the digital like terminology for like jobs, and I still get confused. So like the fact that like, but I think ultimately like there are a lot of jobs out there that if like people were to tell me they were like something, and I like probably wouldn't know what it was. Like I didn't know what an actuarian was.
A what?
An actuarian.
What's that?
They do like something with numbers. I'm not really sure, but it's like math, and they're really smart. I don't know. But, like, they're, like, jobs like that, like, you would be like, what the fuck? But, like, it's the same thing, like, an actuarian makes, like, 6 figures, I'm pretty sure, in the States. But, like, there are a lot of people that out there that would be like, what the fuck is that? Like, what does that mean? But, like, I think that's just, like, just judgment in general. Like, people will always judge, and, like, whether or not you are okay with it or not, like, you just have to know that
whatever
you have to love yourself.
You do you. I swear to God, you just do you, because eventually when you're just focused on yourself, and then you get your own momentum, and then you get these successes, people will be like, how'd you do that? Weren't you just there? But now she's like there. Like I used to go out a lot, like almost like every weekend and just whatever, but then now they're like, what happened to Lois? Oh, she's that now, like, just focus on you, and then people will be like talking about you now, because no matter what, they're gonna say shit, whether you're still with them, hanging out with them, drinking out with them, or would you have them say something about you now that you're ahead of them, or just,
it's crazy.
It's not
crazy
even
to think about.
It's not like even a competition for them, but if they see it that way, well, whatever. But just what's important is you're in competition with yourself every day. Do better than what you did yesterday, because ultimately it's about you. It's about how you will put value into other people's lives, especially for your family, for the people that you care about, for friends. Now that one of my goals is to make this bigger, to scale up, so that I could help more people who will be like more interested into changing their lives, because being in the corporate world is toxic. It's toxic. It's only some people could really like thrive in it, or good for you if it's really your fix. But some people are just there because they have bills to pay. But for now, people has to understand that we're in the digital world, and we're in the era of information. So it's just literally in your fingertips. So as long as you work hard in it, and then if I can give a platform for these people to work at home, to be with their families as they earn from their laptop, being a digital nomad, then I would be happy and that, like, giving that value to them, to their lives, I would be like, content. I would be like over the moon to help more people be like me, or more people, like, provide them the information, the knowledge, the tools, and how to become a digital nomad, and how to build their own freelancing business, whatever niche that they may be in graphic design or content or social media, whatever it is, because mine is more in paid ads. But I just want them to realize that they have more power than they actually do. They have the choice that then people around them are letting them think. Because most of the time people around you will tell you, like, why would you do that? You have your kids to send to school, or like this and that. Like, they give you all these environmental factors telling you no, which sometimes you believe in them because of these things, because it's scary and, like, it's unstable. But if you just work hard in it and take a leap of faith, like, you really reap what you sow. So,
and I think also, like, once, especially in business, like, you will always have a goal with whatever you want in life. Like, you will always reach a goal, and once you get to that goal, you want something more.
Yeah.
And so, like, you were able to reach that goal where you were, like, making money, but now you want to make more money and want to help people now. And, like, that's such a beautiful thing, because I think also it's, like, law of attraction. Like, you could attract anything into your life, and, like, you attracted, like, just starting this business into your life, and, like, are attracting these, like, you lost a client and then attracted a better client. And so, like, I feel like it's, like, everything happens for a reason, as cliche as that sounds, but, like, ultimately, like, everyone will always want more of something. You just have to be willing to go out there and get it and attract it and accept it.
Be open
to, like, just the energies and stuff. But, like, really, like, when it comes down to it, like, you started a business and right now are pretty successful and want to get to a place where you are able to provide for like the people around you and the community around you. Like, what, like, was there, like, a turning point that happened where you were just like, I want more? Or, like, how did you, like, balance that between, like, okay, I could be content with how I am right now, and, like, I don't know, this is kind of confusing.
There was, when I hit that mark, I was, like, constantly checking my bank account. I was like, is this for real? Is it, like, 6 digits for real? And then in just a month, and then I was like, hey, okay, I thought that would make me happy. Cause and then it was just, like, I think 4 or 5 months in, then so the next thing is making it stable. So the structure of everything, of the hiring people, or whatever, just getting the right clients, having the right, salesperson or whatever. And then when I was going out on these seminars, when I was holding, like, I was talking for these events, that's when I realized this is what gives me more, like, fulfillment. Because when people were asking me for advice and that they want how to start their freelancing journey, like, they were asking me, how did I do that? Where did I get the courage? And then when I have people coming up to me and saying that, you know what, you inspire me a lot because I couldn't do it, but then I think I'm gonna do it now. And then I'm like, oh, then that's when I realized that I think that's how, like, I wanted to be better, just not just for myself, but for the people that I could inspire to better their lives too.
Yeah.
If it
and I think that's the most beautiful thing about, like, entrepreneurship, because I feel like you have so much potential to, like, inspire other people to do what you did. Like, if you could do it, if you, like, overcame being depressed in nursing school and, like, now are a successful entrepreneur, like, you could get to a point, like, anybody could get to that point. They just have to be willing to take that step of, like, courage and, like, actually go towards it. Like, there's so much fear constructed in our minds, but I think ultimately fear is rooted in our souls, not because of us, but because of what other people are telling us we should fear. Fearing instability, fearing not getting having money in the bank, feeling not like.
Ultimately, it's about money at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and like that's where fear is rooted from, and it's rooted in our parents, and our parents rooted it within us. And it's just like, once you become aware of like, why am I fearing these certain things? Where does it come from? Then you start to overcome these like limiting beliefs you have in your mind. And it is all just a limiting belief. Like, most limiting beliefs that you have are not your own.
I know.
And they are rooted from someone else. Like why are you afraid of needles? Like, maybe like when you were younger, your parents were like, oh my God, hold my hand. It's like, it'll be okay. But like, if you go into it and you're like, oh my God, this is so cool, then more kids will probably be more likely to like be okay with needles. Even like financial stability, like a lot of times like the fear of being financially unstable comes from our parents who struggled with financial stability. So like that fear is rooted in us, which makes us fear and like wants us to get a job or like a 6-figure paying job like right out of college. But obviously that's not realistic for most people.
It's not.
But like it's just like, that fear is not your own fear. And I think once you are aware of like where the fears are rooted within you, that's when you could actually like grab them, get rid of them, and like transform them into new thoughts and new energy to transform your like entire life.
Because you might be fearing this tunnel or this cave, but you don't know at the end of the cave there's like the whole treasure that you've been waiting for, but you just won't go in, or just, you know. At the end of the day, it's really about, you have a choice. You can stay with the familiar, the stable one, but still be unhappy. Or you could take the risk, do whatever. Because either way, at least, win or lose, you would understand, you would know the answer that at least I tried, or at least I learned something. It's just about taking that risk and taking that step. I mean, starting a business is not easy. It's been a roller coaster. Like, some days it's really good, some days not. You know, some days we get a lot of clients, sometimes we get clients that pulls out, and then it's still unstable. It's not different from being like, you know.
And I think people think entrepreneurship is this whole beautiful thing that it's easy. And like starting a business is easy, but like obviously it's not. Like, you have to work hard, and like there will be ups and downs. So like I just want to speak to this because obviously for this I'm curious, and I'm sure other people are curious. Like, what was probably one of the hardest times when you were like a business owner that you struggled with? And like what happened, and like how did you overcome and like still like transform your business to like where it is now?
So I think that was a few months ago. We had all the clients, I had only 3 clients then. I had all 3 clients pull out in just a month. So it's kind of like, oh my God, am I doing this right? Am I like, should I go back? And then, so should I just find another company and just work for them? Because I would also get things and like, you know, from other companies, like offers to like work for them, just with whatever, with a competitive salary. And then when I turned them down, they offered me a higher salary. So I was really confused. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Should I just like leave this and just like just go to the company back again? And then I just took a leap of faith. So at least I had my savings. So from that, I still just like stick to it. Like, I didn't sleep. I just day and night I was looking for clients, and then I got one. And then after that, I was like, this is pretty stable now. And then I got another one, and then I got another one, and then that's when I hired other people because I'm planning to get another one, and then another one. So that's when it started. Because that's what I'm saying. It's really not easy. Some days are really, really dark. Cause like, and then I had some clients, like new client, and then they just ghost you. They don't pay you. They don't reply in your emails. They
God.
In Skype, they're gone. They block you or whatever, and then you've set up all the things for them. So probably their ads are running now pretty good, and we've sent the banners for them, but then all of a sudden they just ghost you.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy.
That's shitty. Karma will bite them back in the butt.
Like whatever. At least like
it's crazy how like even like that still exists. Like
it
just
does.
like people
because we're Filipino, they're outsourcing to the Philippines.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they think they could just like ghost us or whatever. But then that's when I started to create these contracts between clients. So that's kind of whatever
you learn from it.
you learn from it. Whatever highs or lows. Even when I'm at the top, I still get uncomfortable because like this can't be this
so
good
weird,
or this can't be this good like till like for 3 weeks straight. I'm sorry. So I'm still constantly on edge or constantly like thinking how to better everything because you know it is a world of like you know digital world is constantly changing. So you have to be updated with whatever, with what's new, with what's the new strategy, or you know another platform could spring up all of a sudden, and then we should learn how to make ads for that too. So it's just all about the mindset of not giving up, and as cliche or how many times can you hear that, like don't give up, but if you just stick with it and just like I can do this, like whatever, then it will really pay off.
That's so good. If you had one piece of advice to give to someone who's like in corporate right now, is thinking about starting a business or like wants to go down the path of entrepreneurship, like what would it be?
One quote, it's not for me though, it's from Jim Rohn. Like that's what hit me because one of the things that he said was that if you're unhappy, move because you're not a tree. I'm like, damn.
Dang, that one at home.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. And it still hits me like every time like I'm in a place that I don't like it here or whatever. It really like springs up in my mind whenever because it really makes sense. You're not a tree. You're not rooted there. You're like, you can do whatever. So... and just and that just don't give up.
That's so good. All right,
I'll
end it there.
That was so
just
long.
like that. I hope you enjoyed this roller coaster of a conversation. Be sure to check me out on Instagram at AndrewOnTheGlobe. Follow the Female Passion Project and check out thefemalepassionproject.com to join the community of women chasing after their craziest, most wildest dreams while trying to figure out this thing we call life. As always, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify or whatever podcast streaming app you use. Thanks for listening and see you in the next podcast.